Before I start this video, I want to shout out Casual Loop and say that hopefully in the future we can do maybe a multiplayer challenge run or something like that. We'll see. Can't wait to collab with you later in the future, buddy. With that being said, let's start the video. I should get to the rules of the challenge. I'm only allowed to use 3 different weapons: plasma pistol, laser pistol, and the alien blaster. Originally I wanted to only do the alien blaster, but you can't get ammo from it unless you're in the DLC. And I wanted to just use a plasma pistol, but I could not find it to the very end of the game. And I looked everywhere, and I searched everywhere, and it just said Enclave officers, but I couldn't find any, even after beating the game. So yeah, with that being said, let's get this challenge started. I was born, I picked boy for obvious reasons, and then I picked my name, Rick. I could have done Rick Sanchez, but I was lazy and just put Rick. After that, I decided to try to make Rick Sanchez. I tried to make him have light blue hair, but I can only get dark blue for some reason, so that's what you're gonna get. After being born, I decided to drain strength and increase my other special stats. Then I talked to Butch. After he threatened to steal my sweet roll, I told him his mom was an alcoholic. Then I had to fail the challenge and kill a rad roach. So then I decided to make amends with Butch and tell him that Amari was a fasting pig and you should tell her that. Then I picked my skills: energy weapons, medicine, and science. I should have went with lockpick, but I'll explain why later. After that, I talked to Amari and she told me to get the F out because my dad left. So it was time for me to leave the vault. I talked to Butch and convinced him to leave his mom for death. Then I finally got my lab coat, which I'm only allowed to wear this lab coat for obvious reasons. Then I hacked a terminal, and I finally left the vault. After leaving the vault, it was time for me to go to Megaton, because I wanted some XP and some caps, so I put the difficulty to hard. You might be asking, why didn't you put it to very hard? Well, anyway, let's blow up Megaton. I then talked to this mysterious stranger who offered me money to blow something up, and since I'm Rick Sanchez, I can't say no to that. So I rigged the bomb to explode, went to the tower, and watched a nuke go off. It's pretty satisfying. Not as satisfying as blowing up an entire planet or making your own universe, but it's up there. After that, I talked to Roy Phillips. I needed some XP to get into lockpick because I didn't choose it as a special skill. So I had a plan. I let him in to murder everyone. Luckily, to complete this quest, you don't actually need to help him. You can just leave after doing that. Then I decided to help with the Replicant Man quest and just do some side quests here and there. And then I went to meet 3 Dog. I needed my lockpick skill to 50 so I can get a laser pistol. So I'd simply just hid and let the Brotherhood deal with the super mutants. You don't actually have to kill the behemoth. This Brotherhood can do it for you. After that, I talked to 3 Dog and I finally got my lockpick up to 50. So I can finally get my laser pistol that I always wanted. So that's what I did. I went, lockpicked the safe, and finally got my laser pistol. Now the run can truly begin. Could have began way earlier if I would have gone to lockpick, but hey, I can't complain now. After that, I decided to test down some super mutants. The damage was alright, especially for this level. The only thing I had to worry about was taking so much damage because I am literally only wearing a lab coat. That's why I went so high into medicine. And the super mutant brutes also took a while to take down, but nothing that was too difficult. Then, I took the dish, put it on the Washington Monument, fixing 3 Dog's radio. After that, it was time for me to fight some more super mutants to try to see where my dad went. And yeah, not really much happened. These super mutants were just like the ones from before, so we can really skip past this part. I did get a few cool kills here and there though, which is always nice. After that, I found some tapes to discover that my dad was in a vault. Ironic that I left the vault to try to find him, then I had to go back into a vault to save him. And then I went to a level that was just like Rick and Morty. Just like Rick, when people tried to scam him by putting him into a simulation, I was not in the mood. So just like what he did, I murdered everyone. Watching everyone die, not even talking to the weird German scientist, I just typed in the passcode and left. After that, I talked to my dad, and I agreed to meet him at River City. So, it was time for me to wipe out some super mutants again, because I haven't killed enough super mutants yet. Yay! Really, this is just kind of repetitive, honestly. After that, I then watched the Enclave come in, which we all knew what was going to happen. This cutscene is actually pretty cool, first time playing the game. And the Enclave are a bunch of pushovers. Now, you'd think they would be a lot tougher with the strongest power armor, but apparently they're not. After dealing with pushovers, I watched my father die and agreed to get the hell out of here. So then, turn on my 100 science. I was hoping that Dr. Lily would actually say something, but apparently no, there's no special dialogue. So I went to the Citadel disappointed and agreed to go into Vault 101 for some payback. You see, the Overseer tried to get me killed, and I couldn't really have a weapon back then, so I just went back to obliterate him once and for all. With the Overseer dead and my revenge satisfied, I then told Amari that she's in charge now, good luck, and then I left. After getting vengeance, I then went to the children at Little Lamplight and used my Child at Heart perk to get inside. After that, I hacked the terminal, and it was time for me to enter. After entering the vault, these super mutants were quite tougher than the average ones, but they were still no match for Rick Sanchez and his intelligence and laser pistol, so I just easily obliterated them one by one. It also didn't hurt that I had like 50 stim packs, because you can never have too much stim packs when your only protection is the literal coat. Then after that, I freed Fox. He can get me the GECK. I usually do it myself, but considering that I had enough science and I didn't bring any rat away, this was kind of my only option. So, after talking to Fox, he got me the GECK. Then I was kidnapped by the Enclave. Fit in that Rick would have troubles with the government, even in a post-apocalyptic society. As then, Colonel Autumn tried to get me to give him the code, but I told him to F off, and then President John Henry Eden wanted to speak to me. Not before I killed one of his officers for trying to kill me first. Self-defense, you all saw that. After murdering him relentlessly and getting a nice little headshot there, I talked to President John Henry Eden. As then I used my science to convince him to self-destruct because he was an abomination of nature. Not before I took the poison though. After taking the poison, killing Eden, it was finally time for me to leave the Enclave, and not really much happened here. I just really stayed back and let the machines do the work. These robots easily tear through Enclave soldiers, so all you have to do is wait back and let them do the work for you. Then Fox saved me. As I talked to Fox, he refused to join me because I was a bad boy. Sad, I went back to the Citadel and agreed to help the Brotherhood destroy the Enclave, as then, Shrapnel was on the bridge. I have no idea how or why he got there, but apparently he did. Anyway, I then tore through some Enclave soldiers, followed a giant robot, made it to Colonel Autumn, as then I told him it would be fun killing you, as then I simply killed him with a couple headshots. With Colonel Autumn dead, I didn't hid away behind a pillar so their machine guns couldn't affect me, and used VATS to shoot him in the head. Not gonna lie, VATS came in clutch a lot through this challenge. After killing the last Enclave officer, it was time for Rick to finally die. Rick was tired of this life and wanted to end it all, so he decided to take everyone out with him as he poisoned the water supply. Very nice. Then went inside to destroy himself and destroy everyone, as then Rick took his final breath as he was no more. Just kidding, there's such thing called DLCs. I honestly wish the game ended there, but sadly you can go on with the DLC. After that, it was time to do the Mothership Zeta DLC, and on the way I finally got my plasma pistol, but at this point I could use the alien blaster, so it was too late. But before I went, I turned a robot into a psychopath for fun to get out my anger. Then I started the Mothership Zeta DLC, because, come on, it's Rick Sanchez. Of course I'm gonna have to do everything involving aliens, that's just like a given. After I was captured, I then started a fight, but I couldn't really fight back, so I just kind of had to block. After that, I saved a little girl named Sally. Sally agreed to help me escape. I kind of liked her, reminded me of a little boy named Morty. Then, I got some energy weapons, and I was finally able to test out my plasma pistol, which did pretty well. But, like I said, the alien blaster was way better, so I'm going to use this. So after looting a corpse and killing some more aliens with their own weapons, I must say that this DLC is actually quite fun, and I hear everyone hates it. I don't really know why, because this DLC is very enjoyable. So if you know why people hate it, let me know in the comments below. Then after doing that, I destroyed some engines here and there to make sure that teleporters are disabled. Then I had to go out into space. Technically, I did have to take off my lab coat to put on the spacesuit, but since the game literally makes you do it and you don't fight anyone out there, I'm not going to count that as a failed challenge. If you want to, then you can do it. After that, I got yelled out by some alien deity. Then I blew up some more engines. After that, it was time for me to fight my way to the captain's quarters, as I had to disable the ship once and for all. These aliens did a lot of damage, but I feel like if I had power armor and better armor than just a lab coat, then I could have done it easily. So I feel like this DLC isn't really that hard. I then activated a death ray and killed who knows how many people because I was bored. After causing mass murder and genocide, it was time for me to disable more generators so I can finally shut off the ship. After killing some abominations of nature and making my way through the captain's deck, it was finally time for me to do a space battle. And this was very confusing, but the space battle was quite fun. I really did enjoy it. Just blasting them off and turning on shields, blast them and turn on shields. It did get repetitive after a while, but after a while I was able to blow up the spaceship, proving once and for all, yes, you can beat Fallout 3 as Rick Sanchez. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I hope you have an amazing day. I love